And now a message from our friends at Fetching Food.
The 1970s and 80s had Elbow, Gravy Train, Purina, Meow Mix, and Bell Bottoms. You've changed your clothes, now change how you feed your pet. Like Bell Bottoms, kick the kibble and join us in the 21st century with the healthiest diet for dogs and cats. Feed naturally, feed raw, feed Fetching Foods.
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ha ha ha! Bells on bobs, tails, wings, making a spirit bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing and sledding songs tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid a neigh. The Batmobile lost his wheels and the Joker got away. Hey! We hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas! This is Santa Claus, and you have reached my personal hotline. We have been very busy making all of those toys to deliver on Christmas morning, and I want you to know that your family loves you very much, and so do I. So be good. And don't forget to always listen to your parents. When you hear the tone, please leave me your Christmas gift wishes and holiday cheer. And remember, kids, I know who's been naughty and nice. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon.
Hello, pups and kids, and welcome to another holiday edition of the Groomer Next Door Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Green, and joining us this week from Vava Pet Cam, we have Kim Tran. She is going to talk about their Indiegogo, and just a disclaimer, if you've yet to purchase anything for holiday gifts, here's a possible idea for all of you. And which is pretty much why we put together a holiday edition series so that you guys have a little bit of options, because it is so stressful this time of year. Everybody is so worried about picking the right gift, something that somebody doesn't have, something new, something borrowed, something. Oh wait, that's wedding. Well, anyway, we're always looking for something that's unique, and well, Vava Pet Cam is pretty darn cool. And we'll get into that in just a bit. But let's go into a fun fact. According to vetcheck.com, and of course, I haven't crossed this with any of our veterinary friends, but we're going to go with this as fact, because everything you read is fact. So, to any of my vet friends, if this isn't fact, please let me know. But it states that poinsettia plants will not kill your cat. It says if the cat eats the entire plant and the soil and the pot, that could be deadly. But the poinsettia is not a toxin. It is an irritant. So, if your cat or your dog munches on a leaf, he or she will most likely just vomit. I always say that about big pet food, but you know where I come from on that. Now again, here's the other thing. Tinsel, that on the other hand, that can kill. But, again, I think we all hear about that. I'm surprised at this stage in the game, Tinsel doesn't have a warning label on it like everything else. How did we ever survive without a sign saying hot coffee on a cup, right? I mean, I think I'm probably not alone here. It always drives me nuts. No kidding, it's hot coffee. I ordered a cup of hot coffee. Why is it written on the cup? Yet it is. Well, by that sound, Kim is about to enter the podcast studio, and I am going to quit my rambling and pass the mic over to her. So with that said, welcome Kim Tran from Vava Pet Cam to the podcast.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
All right, this week on our Christmas holiday extravaganza, we are going to be talking to Kim Tran. She is the marketing director for a really cool company called VAVA. And they have a mobile pet cam, and I'm really interested to talk about this. So thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to be able to talk tech. I love technology, obviously, by doing an online, radio show. Well, how would you not? But, it's great to be able to really dive into this. So what was the origin story for the VAVA Mobile Pet Cam? How did that come about?
So we are a tight-knit company, and many of us work together for very long hours, unfortunately, like 12-hour days. And we've got a lot of pet parents on staff, including the CEO and myself. And it was frustrating to not know how our pets were doing and to kind of worry about them. Mm-hmm. And current pet cameras, as you may or may not know, are stationary. Mm-hmm. So if you have one set up in the living room and your pet's in a different room, you just kind of have to sit there and wait and hope they happen to walk by so you get a glimpse of them. And we thought, this doesn't make any sense. Why don't we solve this problem since we have the, manufacturing and engineering abilities? And so that's how the product came to be.
It's smart. I mean, we've done episodes with the stationary, and, it's a cool idea, but I never really thought about it from that point of view. Yeah, you have to hope that the dog actually comes by, or even the cat will come by and say, hey, I know you. That does make sense. I didn't think about that. So
yeah, especially dogs that hide behind tables or, go under the bed.
Yeah. So you guys decided, okay, we're going to launch our campaign on Indiegogo. And your goal was $25,000. Now, that goal was kind of small, I thought. Wow, that's a little bit low considering such tech that needed to be done. And you guys met your goal, and you still have time. And as of right now, you're at $40,939, which is 162% above goal. So I imagine this is doing really well just on an Indiegogo.
Absolutely. We talked to a lot of other pet parents to make sure that the product would have everything they needed and everything their pet needed. Mm-hmm. And we launched on Indiegogo for the purpose of interacting with even more pet parents so that we could get feedback, comments on things we may or may not have missed. And so far, the feedback's been really positive. One of the things we heard was people like taking pictures of their pets. And so as a result, we had a stretch goal for more memory so that people could take more video and photos. So it's been really fun. We're excited to deliver the product in February.
Yep, and you guys are doing really well in that area. So what are some things that pet parents are saying, we really are looking for this, we really need this, and it has been one of those, we're going to add it to our product?
I am happy to report that I think we did our homework before launching this campaign. And so a lot of that was validation, because I think the biggest thing pet parents struggle with is having peace of mind. A lot of the pet parents and the pets often have separation anxiety, and it makes both parties feel a lot better when you can actually see the pet and make sure they're okay. And so making a pet cam that has wheels that can actually move around, that we can control, helps a lot.
I would imagine that, again, I never really thought about this. It's funny because having in a sense, a remote control car, I'm growing up being a boy, I loved having RC cars. Now I see even my daughter, she loves them. So I imagine just that alone must be enticing to all pet parents and even the littlest of pet parents, or as we call ours, the furless daughter. And I can imagine that right there must be a massive selling point.
It's a huge selling point. I'm proud to say we're the first company to launch a mobile pet cam, and I use it at home myself, and it's actually made me feel a lot better. I actually have a little guy, he's a Boston Terrier, who has really bad separation anxiety. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's to the point where when I leave, his teeth are rattling and he's just shaking by the door. Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. I've canceled dinners because I didn't want to leave him home alone, because I always wondered if he can be shaking by the door the entire time. And so now I actually see what he does. He's a good little actor. As soon as I leave, he actually runs to his bed and just goes to sleep. So he's been guilt tripping me all this time.
Oh, and that is that's one thing that a lot of pet parents don't realize, is that they are great at saying, no, don't go, please don't go. And then the pet parent leaves and they change so drastically. Like all of a sudden they're, oh, okay, well, let's go have some fun now. wait, you were just shaking 5 seconds ago when your mom or dad was here, and now you're just like, all right, well, I guess I'm here. Let's have fun. So I can relate to that.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, all this time I felt so bad, and it's like, oh, you little rascal.
And they are. They really are. Now, something that really caught my attention and I really loved about the product itself was I liked the face. I liked the fact it had digital eyes on it, and I don't know why. It was really pleasing. It had that, it's a robot and tech, and I loved it. How did that concept come up?
We wanted to make sure we made something that was fun, and not just a camera that's like a boring circle. And so we thought the eyes were a good feature. And, a lot of people also have little kids that run around with their pets, and we found that the kids also thought it was really cute. Mm-hmm. So some of us even use it to spy on our kids. So it's kind of worked out.
Now, that brings up a good point. So would you say that the actual pet cam is good to be a nanny cam as well?
I would. I actually have colleagues who don't have fur babies and have human children, as I call them, and they actually drive the pet cam into their kids' bedrooms at night just to say hi, if it's going to be a long night. So it's worked out for all kinds of parents.
I like that. Again, having wheels, you never really think about it. Now, since you're able to play with this, and I use the word play because, honestly, I would be just driving it around all the time and probably using it for that fun reason alone. What's the control pattern like? How is that, work on your phone, and how does it handle all the commands?
So we made sure the app was super easy to use. Once you sync your phone to the pet cam, you can control it anywhere remotely. Mm-hmm. And it's just simple controls, much like you would find on a regular car remote or even a TV remote. So it's not anything new people have to learn. They're just arrows that are, up, down, left. So even a little kid can use it. Now,
is the actual pet cam, is it set to Wi-Fi in the house so that you're able to talk to it from afar?
Yes, that's exactly right. There is two-way audio.
Cool. Now, you were mentioning the app. I always love to ask the question on app development. Now, I'm pretty sure you didn't have a lot of, hands-on in that area, but did you hear of any difficulties on being able to get all of the algorithms all put together and anything going incorrectly and any kind of bugs that went into that whole process?
I think the only initial struggle was probably making sure that it was easy to pair the pet cam and the phone. But we got through that, and the app itself we kept very simple because we wanted to make sure everyone would be able to use it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very intuitive.
I always find it always funny because anytime I've ever talked to anybody that have to make this, they're always like, oh God, developing the apps and then having to create the Apple version opposed to others is always more difficult, and I never have understood why Apple makes everything so hard, but they do.
I can attest to that, but I appreciate it because I think they want to make sure we're turning in bug-free apps. Mm-hmm. And I think the key to success there is just making sure you keep the product simple and you're delivering, only the features that people really need. I think where a lot of companies run into issues is trying to jam too many things in the app. Mm-hmm. So keeping it simple really helps.
That is definitely the challenge. Now, did I see, or am I completely missing this, but I could have sworn I saw that it launches treats as well?
Yes, it dispenses treats. You can do that remotely as well. So you can either dispense treats to reward good behavior, or you can do that just because you want to spoil your pet.
I'll tell you, if I had one, I would just be launching them the whole time just because I'm like, I'm spoiling you. I'm sorry, I'm not home.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it would be out. All you would hear is click, click, click. Oh, we're all out. Now, can the dog or cat see you, or can you only see them?
Right now, only we can see them, but they can hear us, and we can hear them as well.
And with the eyes and things, I don't know how it would be possible, but I thought, well, maybe, who knows. Now, the shape being round, did you guys choose that because of abilities for the dog not to chew on it, or was there a specific reason for the shape?
You're absolutely right. So there were two reasons. We wanted to create something that had a low center of gravity to make sure that pets didn't knock it over. As we know, pets can be a little rough. And also the round curve prevents the pet from wanting to gnaw on the corners.
And see, I would always be concerned. Now, what about the wheels? Obviously, that's a little bit different. Is there, because again, chewers are going to chew and they're going to find a way. If one of the dogs does chew the wheels to the point where it doesn't move, is there ways of picking up replacement wheels?
I think if that happens, we would probably have to get the unit back and replace it for them. We don't sell the wheels so that the consumer can do it. Hopefully that doesn't happen because we try to keep the wheels, tucked as low as possible and they're on treads so they can go on carpet and hardwood. But certainly if a dog is super determined, as you may know, they could chew it up.
Always a concern. Now, let's just say for the idea here that you leave it upstairs and there's stairs. So if you're driving it down the stairs, will it just have that roll mechanism because it's a ball and land upright, or is it possible that it wouldn't land upright and be able to move?
So we take safety very seriously, even for the pet cam. So we actually included a drop detection sensors and collision detection sensors. So the pet cam will detect if it's near the edge of the stairs, and it'll stop itself from going down the stairs. And if it detects a wall or a pet in front of it, it'll also stop. Wow,
that is really unique and really cool. Because again, when it comes to the whole process of cameras and tech, it's so worrisome that, oh my God, it could break. Now with the camera itself, I know a lot of people, and I'm not one of them, but I know a lot of people are really particular on resolution. So what does it shoot in resolution?
It's a 1080p camera, so okay. Definitely top of the line. We want to make sure we're able to see our pets very clearly.
By any chance, and this is something that I don't know if it's in the features or not, or will it become part of the features, a record button where you'll be able to record a moment with your dog or cat?
Yes, you can record video and you can snap photos.
See, that's helpful. Now, it saves onto your personal phone, not onto the device.
It saves to the cloud and to the app itself.
Oh, wow. See, I'm thinking, it'll just save right to the phone, like most things do, but that's even easier. Do you have, now in the whole initial startup, do you have to create your account and then have everything set up that way? How does that work?
Yes, so setup is I think we did it in under 60 seconds. You download the app and you enter your email and your password, and then you sync it to the pet cam and you're ready to go. Nice.
Simple and easy. Obviously, you guys are really concerned with the plug-and-play mechanism opposed to let's take a long time to set things up. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I know with the GoPro, the setup was just unbelievably long, and I did not enjoy that.
Yeah, that's definitely a more techie audience. We wanted to make sure that, even grandma can use this easily.
That's a good point. That's definitely a good point. Now, the battery's rechargeable. What would be the running time per charge?
So a full charge takes about 3 hours, and it'll last for an entire week.
Wow.
Unless you have the camera on, all day where you're spying on your dog for all 12 hours, which I don't think most people would do.
Well, I mean, if they're really bad at their job and they just want to kind of play with the whole thing, I can honestly say, yeah. I mean, I can even imagine sitting in the airport just driving the little thing around would be fun. Again, I'm a 37-year-old child.
That job.
Right? That sounds awesome. Have you guys done some kind of testing with it with different consumers? Have you had any of those little market research things happen yet?
Definitely. We have had a lot of beta testers. We've had groups of dogs playing with it to make sure that it's durable. And the feedback's been really positive. I'm admittedly a dog person, and I was really pleasantly surprised and shocked that even the cats really liked it.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, it's moving. They have that hunter mentality. So I can see where they would, and they hear your voice. So mine would just kind of have their head sideways, go, "Where's my food?" Typically.
You know what yours might like? So the Pet Cam also comes with a butterfly teaser and also a cat feather teaser.
Oh, yeah.
And we found that the cats really loved that. Like you said, it really, gets that hunter instinct going.
Oh, it would. It would be totally the best. Now, something that I didn't even topic on, and again, as I told you, I don't write all kinds of ideas down. This is all kind of off the top of my head. But now with the treat, is it a specific brand of treat? Is it a brand that only you guys use? Or is it generic that you can put any kind of treat inside the actual device itself?
That's a great question. So our treat dispenser is actually really unique. It can hold different sizes, long and round treats, because we wanted to make sure the treats made sense for the cats and the dogs. Mm-hmm. And there's also a compartmentalized tray so that it prevents the treats from jamming. You know, one of the complaints we've seen for the stationary cameras is the treats often get jammed, which is frustrating for the pet. So we wanted to make sure that didn't happen with our product.
I would imagine that would be really annoying. I've not heard that, but again, I don't have one of the stationary ones, so I would imagine it would be a problem.
we don't want any hangry pets.
Well, I mean, I would think it'd be two-sided. One, the furry friend would be really angry, like, well, you promised me this, and the pet parent would be like, I'm trying, and they're smacking their phone. I'm pushing it, launch, and it won't do it. I can totally see it.
I can see it now too. That's funny.
I know it's a weird thing just to be seeing your dog or cat looking at it going, all right, where's my treat? What day does the campaign end? From right now, I think I saw it's 23 days until it ends. But what would that be on day wise?
Oh gosh, you're asking me to do math on a Friday?
I know. I'm sorry. This is what I do. I throw all kinds of weird things at people. What can I say?
I'll have to take a look. I don't even know what the exact date is.
Would it be December 22nd? I think is when it would end, because I think we're 30 days in the month. So I think it's December 22nd.
You win the math award.
Yay! Well, I'm just glad I got it. All right, so December 22nd is when the Indiegogo campaign ends. Now, for the early bird is half off, and the device is $149. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then that's just the device itself. Then you can go with the VAVA Pet Cam, and that's the one I had a curiosity to, and that one was at $159. And I didn't know what the difference was between the $149 and the $159.
So it's actually supposed to be a number one, what you're looking at.
Oh, okay.
And the pet cams are similar. The $149 is early bird pricing, and we limited the quantity. And so right now there is still, fortunately, some available if people are interested. And once the quantity is taken up, then it moves just to the $159.
Okay, which is still, I mean, not a bad price, considering all the stationary ones are approximately in that range. And again, they're stationary.
Yes.
Now, then you have the Pet Cam, and this is what I found to be really interesting, the Pet Cam plus the digital bowl. So tell us about the digital bowl and what's its properties and abilities.
Sure. So for $169, the digital bowl is a bonus gift, and it's a very simple bowl with a digital scale. So folks who have their pets maybe on a strict diet can weigh the food and make sure they're feeding the proper amount. Especially if you've been giving your pet treats all day, you want to make sure they stay lean.
Understandable. I mean, as a raw feeder, we measure everything out to a certain weight. So that would actually be helpful. Because a lot of times we do it on a scale and then put it into play, and with this, it's just right there in the bowl. So with that, it's kind of, worth the $20 for that, or even $10 difference. So that's a good thing. And then you guys have larger amounts that you can purchase in larger quantities as well?
Yes, you can certainly buy, 2 or 3 or even a 10-pack. Some folks, especially with the holidays coming up, may want to purchase one for themselves and one for a friend.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Now, once everything is done with Indiegogo, what's next with VAVA Pet Cam?
Once we're done with Indiegogo, we will be super excited to start delivering products, after which we definitely plan to go to market with the product. And hopefully, this time next year, you'll see it in stores.
Now, what's that like? Now, this is down your alley, really down your alley. What's it like when you're actually working out from this particular spot to go into stores? What goes on behind the scenes that most of us don't know about?
Getting meetings with retailers, that's never easy, and you definitely have to make sure you catch them on their calendar date because they set products for stores only in specific weeks of the year. So timing is everything. Once we launch and we're ready to go, we'll definitely start meeting with retailers, sending out samples for them to try and test, and then hopefully getting the product on shelf.
Now, what's one of the companies that's the easiest to get into, and what's the hardest one to get into?
I wouldn't really say there's an easiest or hardest. It's more so about product market fit and making sure the product that you're presenting is something their audience would want. And I think this really does fulfill a need for pet parents who are worried. So I can't imagine people turning it away, but we'll see.
I would imagine it would be difficult. I would imagine that anything pet related in this industry, in this type of climate that we're in, would be a little bit easier than it was maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I would imagine it would be easier now, though.
Pet parents are an interesting group. I think that we're very careful in what we buy our pets, so I don't think sales is ever easy, but I do think that they pay attention to, what they need, and if the product is answering an issue for them, then you're definitely ahead of the game.
Well, yeah, and you're doing everything that you can to kind of meet all the demands and then almost in a sense reinvent the wheel, which seems to be exactly what you guys did here. So what about two-way cams is that ever something that, I know we talked about it briefly, but is that something that might be in the Pet Cam 2 or 3? Because I know you guys have to be talking about that.
We are. Definitely in Generation 2, we hope to have a two-way video. That, obviously takes longer development time, and we wanted to make sure we got this one out first so that folks could start spying on their pets sooner than later. And then hopefully, in Gen 2, they'll see the two-way camera.
See, that's what I always find really interesting with tech is that there's never just a one gen. It's always, everything changes. And it's not a bad thing. You kind of have to do that. So I totally get that. And it really, honestly, Gen 2 may not have it. It may have to wait a little bit because, like you said, tech and the way that putting everything together could be a little bit of a challenge. Is there anything that we didn't cover that we really should have been able to topic on when it comes to this?
No, you've been fabulous. I think it really helps that you yourself have pets, so you understand.
I try to think about all these little things that I would love to see, and again, what you guys are doing is awesome, and I love it. And I'm really thinking that you guys are going to hit a home run on this one. Obviously, by the numbers, you already are.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, last thing I will say is, how can everybody participate in this for the next, few days?
They can go to petcam.vava.com. That's PETCAM.VAVA.com.
and go into Indiegogo if you want to get in on this ground floor, because I have a feeling this is kind of like the iPhone of 10 plus years ago, where people are like, oh, that's a good idea, and then everybody's going to be like, well, I wish I would have bought in on it. Hopefully it'll be just like that.
I think so.
I think
I think in a few years, this will be, so normal to have in the household, just like it is a pet leash.
True. Well, oddly enough, I'm going to say this. I have a leash, but my dog is off-leash trained, so it's only for the walks. It's never for anything more. It kind of sits there as a, I don't have to wear that.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Mine takes off whenever he can.
Oh no! Even down to the puppies. We raise all of our fosters and everything to be off leash, just so that there's a little bit more control on it, so that they're not crazy to get away. Kind of helps.
That's really smart. I'll have to send mine to you for training.
It just takes time. Well, Kim, thank you for being on. I really appreciate you sharing what VAVA is doing, and come back anytime. Let us know when Gen 2 comes out so we can talk about it.
Will do. Thank you, Chris.
Well, I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime. Wait, you forgot about me. And now a moment with Claire.
Okay, well...
How can you forget that?
Well, this actually is a segment that we used to do all the time called A Moment with Claire. It took me...
Finally!
I know, right? I could not remember the name, so she's making fun of me right now. And I'm okay with recording it the way it is. I completely forgot the name of the segment. All right, well...
Yvonne!
A Moment with Claire is our little time where we kind of share a little bit of our own little intimate parts of our lives with all of you. And if you're new to the podcast.
But if you're not, forget what we said.
Yeah, well, it happened before. We haven't done it in a long time. So today is December the 15th, 2018. And Claire just finished a few hours ago with her basketball team, which she had two that she played for, which if any of you followed, we had 4 hours a day. A lot of times would be straight 4 hours. And
now I get 2.
Well, today you had 2. The teams did really well. They tried really hard. They didn't do so well stats-wise, but what a great team. So, from your perspective, what was the season like, and especially the part where you had to play 2 games in a row, actually 4 games when you think about it. How was that?
And had to stay and watch the maroon.
Well, I'm talking about all season. Talk about the whole season.
So in the beginning of the season, I had only one team that I got to go and play. But then Paige let me have 2. So she gave me a maroon jersey. I went out there, and it was really different. Like, it was so weird because I had to play 4 hours of back-to-back games.
Well, actually, what really made it more interesting was that the team that she went to, the maroon team, was her age group. And she was already set to play in an upper group, which, honestly...
That's really odd.
It was odd, but you were able to do it. And you know what? I say this with all love and everything that goes with it. She makes a face at me. But... you were better when you played in the upper league than you were in your own.
Yeah, I have a little bit stronger when I play the upper league because they have more strength with me too. I'm not like being mean to the maroon, but
you just play different. You almost kind of were a little bit afraid to play in maroon.
Yeah, because they're like so small, and I was like, I'm afraid because I'm gonna win against them.
Or I'm going to knock them over.
And get 5,000 be out.
Which, you were ejected from one game this season. So welcome to my world, where I was ejected from many, many games.
I'll tell them why I got ejected.
Go for it.
So, when I was about to score, the girl tried to push me. And then they counted as me putting my elbows up. And then when I was trying to shoot... they said I hit her in the face with the hand when it was actually the ball. and they called me out of the game for like too many fouls and putting my elbows up.
They actually gave you a technical, and this game actually happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it was a technical foul that she received because the ref thought that her elbow smacked into the girl, who went down like, I would say, a ton of bricks. And honestly, I expected. I know I'm not laughing at her.
A lot of bricks.
I'm not laughing at that. What I'm laughing at is, here's Claire just going, "What? What'd I do?" and they're like, she's technical foul, number 9, right? That was your number. I remember number 1. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, number 9.
Number 9 technical foul, out.
You can see it. I'm just joking.
I don't. You're wearing purple still.
Yeah.
So
I'm not wearing maroon.
So
Sad.
it was one of those interesting things. Now, fast forward, we did win only one game each team. We lost.
Surprising, and
I was surprised that they did.
And if we won our last 2 games, we would have been in the final. So that's
just one game. All we had to do was win one game today. I thought you guys were going to do it with maroon. I did.
And if we made it into the championships, we could have won.
Oh, we would have definitely won. But, it was one of those things. Maroon just didn't have it this morning. Maybe it was the early game. Who knows? Now, Purple, who is our original team that we were with. Oh my gosh, guys!
They did a great job.
We were up.
We were up by like 8 points.
Yeah.
It was like 0-6.
No.
And then,
yeah.
And then by halftime, it was like 10-18.
Halftime, we got to half, and it was 18-10. We were up by 8.
And then we got 1, and it was like 20-10. And that was crazy. Yes.
They started scoring, and we would kind of kept.
And then they made a comeback.
A massive comeback, and we ended up losing our final game by 3. It was hard.
Strong.
It was definitely, a heart-pounding experience, and kind of hard to see these girls put everything. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
And to see what you guys have done is just amazing. And as you can hear, our puppies in the background going, "We want attention." So anything you want to add to this season with everything that you've learned so far? What was the one takeaway that you have?
The one takeaway that I had was that it doesn't matter if you win or lose, at least you had fun.
That is a good point. It is a good point, and I really honestly said, even afterwards, I am really sad to see this season end. If you actually look in the GIF art that we did for this episode, on the wall in the background is actually the team photo with all the girls. We don't
have them.
I guess we had a couple of the girls didn't make it to the last game, but
not even the maroon either.
Well, we never got the team photo with them, but I did put that in the background, snuck it in there. So if any of you are still listening to this episode and just go back to the little artwork, you'll see that little photo. Anything else you want to add? Thank you, Katana, for chiming in.
I want to add something.
Apparently, Katana had something to add.
Great story.
All right. So, is that all?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here and talking to us about your basketball teams.
Thank you. And this was A Moment with Claire.